So, according to Sumner, this point of agreement between the established views also generates a few awkward implications for those views. The first awkward implication is that abortion is going to be accorded the same moral status regardless of the gestational age of the fetus, regardless of how far along in development the fetus is. This is suggested to be awkward because um, a 9, or let's just say an 8-month fetus, um, you might want to say is different than a 1-month fetus. Okay, sure, the development from conception to birth is gradual and continuous. Nonetheless, you might believe and you might want to argue that a late term abortion in the 8th month of pregnancy is far worse, morally speaking, than an abortion in the 1st month of pregnancy. However, the liberal and conservative views cannot accord with that idea. They're going to give the same moral status to abortion regardless of when that abortion is obtained, right? For instance, Warren's liberal account is going to say the fetus is not a person at any point during fetal development, so even an 8-month abortion is morally permissible. Whereas a conservative argument like Don Marquis is going to say that a 1-month fetus has a future like ours and so is a member of the moral community. And so or even a day-old fetus has flow as well. So again, abortion is going to be given the same moral status regardless of how far developed that fetus is. And you may see that as an awkward implication. Sumner certainly does. The second awkward implication is in regards to the reasons why someone might obtain an abortion. Again, both the established views, liberal and conservative, are not concerned at all about the reasons why a mother or a couple might seek an abortion. For instance, with Warren's liberal account, any reason is sufficient for obtaining an abortion. Even if a mother or a couple wants to obtain an abortion so that they can go traveling for 2 weeks in Wisconsin, that's a sufficient reason to obtain an abortion because the fetus is not a person. On many conservative views, again, the reasoning for abortion is irrelevant because the fetus is a member of the moral community. Don Marquis tries to make an exception for therapeutic cases of abortion. However, one might challenge that attempt to make an exception because, after all, a fetus does have a future like ours, even if the mother's life is at risk due to pregnancy. So Marquis wants to make that exception for therapeutic abortions, but it may not be justified given his reasoning and his flow argument. So that's awkward because many of us would want to say that abortion is morally permissible in cases like, for instance, where the mother's life is in danger or where the pregnancy is a result of rape. But the conservative and liberal views don't pay attention to the reasoning. They're either going to say, respectively, all abortions are permissible or all abortions are impermissible, regardless of the reasoning. So you may find that to be awkward. You may think that the reasoning is important. And finally, according to Sumner, the third awkward implication is that these established views must give the same moral status to contraception, abortion, and infanticide. The liberal view, such as Warren's, has to deal with the infanticide problem. Warren tries to address that, but you may have had concerns about whether or not her response to the infanticide objection was adequate. Similarly or relatedly, Conservative views, such as Marquis, have to deal with the contraception objection. And again, you may not have found his response to that objection satisfactory. And these are common problems that these established views have to deal with because of the reasoning that lies underneath them. Again, since Warren's liberal argument is based on personhood, and infants don't seem to possess those characteristics, infanticide becomes an issue for her, a problem. Similarly, for conservative views, the use of contraception becomes an issue because by using contraception, you could be preventing a life or a future like ours from taking place. So those are awkward implications of the established views according to Sumner.